The World League has concluded, and we have our players going to the World Championship Finals in 2026. We also have our players going to the play-ins in all three regions. I decided what better way to conclude it than to review it with a couple of people who were a part of the World League. Uh, both players, both people have already been on this show before. First of all, there is Daiiono or Dallin, who was a caster for the Americas League. Also, the second ever episode on the channel, maybe the first real one. Lots of people may have missed that one, so if you want to go back and watch that, and if you want to go back and watch Jamabi's episode as well, he has also been on the channel before. Jamabi, obviously a player in the EMEA region. As you can see, we don't have a professional or a caster from the APAC region, so that might be a bit light today. However, we thought we would still cover all regions. Is there anything you two would like to say to start us off, or shall we just get straight into APAC?
Yeah, ready to hop into it.
Yep, same.
Right, so GeoGuessr World League Week 1 APAC. It started off in potentially the most GeoGuessr fashion possible, where I woke up potentially a couple of hours after it should have started and clicked on Twitch, and Dallin, Finbar, everyone was co-streaming, but still co-streaming nothing. As I wasn't there for the start of it, would either of you two want to pick up of what you remember from that day?
Yeah, I mean, I can start because I was streaming, but we were all excited, I think, to get the World League going, see how the new format worked and all of that. And we had to wait an extra week because it was postponed. They took about, I don't know, it was delays for about 2.5, maybe 3 hours. I remember being live for about that amount of time. I was playing some team duels, some bullseye, some live challenges, trying to pass the time, and never ended up getting resolved. And then I ended up going to sleep at 2 a.m. So that was really fun for me. I mean, I had originally planned to stay up until about 5 or 6 a.m., but that was with, of course, games in mind, which we didn't end up getting. So that was really fun. I don't know how it was for Jamabi as a viewer, potentially, just watching from the outside, not streaming it.
Yeah, I remember waking up from my Edinburgh hotel. I was
tour of the UK at
I
the time.
slept through my alarm. Yeah, I was in the UK at the time. I slept through my alarm and was like an hour late. I was like, oh, Jeff, now I missed like half the games or something. And then I turned on the stream and nothing was going on. And I think eventually it was just like said that it would be postponed because the players couldn't join the game or something. That's what I remember, but might be wrong.
So, yeah, I mean, I just remember thinking that, didn't they test this stuff before? Was like kind of my thinking. I mean, as someone who's employed by GeoGuessr, I'm not going to go further into that, but I did think it was quite interesting that it, for some reason, on the first week for the entire World League, they weren't able to connect. I just thought that was an interesting one for sure.
And with that, I assume you don't do a lot of sort of practices, run-throughs on beforehand on days potentially, or as a caster.
We as a caster typically, I guess. I mean, we can also get into that in the America section, but I pretty much our call time's like an hour beforehand. They do a quick audio check, and then we're ready to go. We just got to come back about 10 minutes before the hour and start pretty much.
And with obviously the players couldn't connect to the client is what I think was the issue potentially. Jamabi, did that worry you at all? Because considering your EMEAs were supposed to be the next week, was that something you were worried about?
I remember talking to Rowan about it when I was in the UK at that time. And it was definitely worrying, like, now being the first week to actually play games and not knowing how the new format and something is going to play out.
Yeah.
Because we did have like the new multiplayers, which weren't a thing back then.
Right.
So, yeah. So you would have preferred to have seen the APAC division go first, so you could see how it worked, basically, before you
Yeah.
stepped in. Do you think that made it more nerve-wracking in your first week?
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, to be fair, they didn't really fix anything for a week. I remember there being quite a few incidents, quite a few people being very unhappy.
Mm-hmm. I remember that one too.
I mean, I will give it to them though. It did get better as the weeks go on.
Yeah.
It went on rather.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were pretty consistent. There was still the occasional tech issue here and there, but I don't know if that was on GeoGuessr or if it was on like Google Maps just not loading. Because I know
Yeah.
we were having those issues for the past month or two. So I don't know. Got better. APAC was kind of like the guinea pig week, I guess, and then
Yeah.
EMA was the real deal.
I do
It
agree.
definitely
first
got
week.
better.
I do agree to get better. However, the question is, do you think there should have been a guinea pig week instead of using Apex as the guinea pig week? I know you might not be able to answer, but Jamabi?
I mean, I feel like they should have just like tested if
Mhm.
connecting to the client works, but yeah.
I think in
Uh,
terms of APAC, they should have just had maybe like the APAC representative, whoever the players coalition representative is, log
Mhm.
on and see, hey, can you connect to this game? This is like a test run, like maybe a couple days before, maybe a week before, just to make sure it was all working. I don't know if it was just like a issue
Yeah.
on that day
Yeah.
in particular, and they did do that, so I can't speak to that at all. But
Yeah,
it
I'm not sure.
was a bit worrying for the first
I just
week with all the hype to
yeah.
like die down, you know?
Yeah.
I just know that like for the EMEA, like after the APEC disaster, there were multiple people reaching out to the GeoGuessr devs asking if they should like do practice runs, like if they could
Yeah.
help with anything,
Mhm.
and they said they would do it internally, and yeah,
Okay.
So it might have been it worked internally that first week or before the first week, but once you got external people, especially from that far away, yeah, that might have caused the issue.
Potentially.
maybe.
So some people have referred to APAC as the plumbers division. This is something I've pulled from Twitch chat. It's not something I have thought myself. Having watched it, considering it was just too early in the morning for me. For you two, what did you think of the standard?
I'll let Jamabi go first on this one.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, definitely the skill density wasn't as high, but I feel like, for example, in APAC, the moving skill level was still kind of decent for most players. Of course, there were like some players who were just like insta sending everything,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like in parts APAC had higher quality than Americas, and especially in the moving side.
Okay.
But yeah, there's definitely a couple players who just aren't good at, you wouldn't think are good enough to participate in the World League.
Yeah, I think also the moniker comes from we've never really looked at APAC as a region that can potentially win a world championship. I don't know if anybody was really in discussions even back in the day, like to
Mhm.
potentially win. We always thought about EMEA. We always thought about RC. MK made the final 2 years ago, kind of jump started the Americas hype a little bit. We always looked at EMEA, of course, as the number one region without a
Yeah.
doubt, and it's still that way to this day. But yeah, I don't know. APAC has never had that one person that we could potentially seeing winning it all. Like it's no slight to the APAC players. It's just like I don't know. They don't have like a Blinky or a RC MK
Mhm.
Hansis kind of type player. So Sheena's very good on online events and like when he's in the comfort of his own home and like lands in Japan. But I feel like when he attends the World Championship, there's always he's a very good player, but it just something always comes up a little short for him. So, and he's on 19 points in APAC. He's the number one seed once again out of APAC. So we'll see if that that translates. But like Jamabi said, I think the skill level, I think it was a bit more balanced compared to America's, because America's is very at the bottom. It was a little bit lower quality, I think, than the bottom of the APAC region. But I also do think that the top of the Americas is a bit stronger than the top of APAC. So it's kind of like pick your
Yeah.
poison with that one. But I would, yeah, and
Mhm.
EMEA obviously still being number one, but we'll discuss that in a bit, I assume.
I was literally just about to make the same points as you were going to make there. It was like just purely based on me watching some of the Americas and then also looking at the standings. It does seem a bit more top heavy in the Americas, and a bit more balanced throughout in the APAC region. Even with the game differential, you've got players in other regions on 19 points. The plus 13 game differential, but
Yeah.
Sheena's there on plus 9. So he is still losing a few matchups, or a few more matchups than the other top players in the other regions.
Yep.
But were there any surprises here in APAC for either of you two? I know me personally. Obviously, I don't know how much he's paying attention to the game these days. But Lero, after obviously beating Blinky in the World Championship last year on stage, not qualifying for even the play-in, was a bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah, I know in Lero's case, Chris, at least, he is attending med school, and I'm sure
Yeah.
you guys know that as well. But like, that's probably his entire focus because I have buddies in med school, and like,
You've got no time.
you really can't put any thought into anything else besides going to school each day, doing your other like hospital work or wherever you're you're doing residency stuff at. I don't know. He's not in that stage yet, but you know what I mean. But yeah, it was surprising to see him drop so much, but I really don't think he's like playing the game at all besides when he fires up on World League games. So it's
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame
it's
him.
interesting. And yeah, I'll throw it back to Jamabi and then I'll
Yeah. I think the week where he got 3 points was actually the week where he actually played the game for like 2 or 3 days in advance. Because as far as I know, he just didn't play the game at all otherwise. So I'm
Yeah.
not really surprised to see those results. Just like being a bit rusty, and he never was a good moving player.
True.
So that definitely also affects him. For
Yeah.
other surprises, I would say Spaghetti still making the play-ins was pretty surprising to me. I feel like he's an OG, but he definitely is quite inconsistent. Definitely makes some easy mistakes, oftentimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did make it into the play-ins. Above like Eamon, Fenep.
Yeah.
Which definitely
I
was surprising to me.
Yeah, I would
As
say
well.
surprising. Yeah, the other surprising thing, like building off of what Jamabi said, Eamon in seventh place was kind of interesting because we see him as someone who's kind of there every year, around the top of APAC, and seeing Lingding on 15 points as well. That's pretty exciting. New player in the
Yeah.
league, and you know he's a pretty solid player. I would say also the way that Sheena showed dominance is just because nobody in the region's really that good at moving. Like if we're being completely honest, it's like
Yeah.
him, Feneb, and Repler's pretty good. And then I don't know, Jamabi, like, do you think anybody else is like particularly solid? Like Trabota's pretty good, I guess.
Like,
But like everyone else,
yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah, like Feneb is decent.
Yeah.
Rappler, yeah.
Yeah, I would
I
say
feel like
only
Ling
Feneb.
Ding definitely improved quite a bit in moving. I know he's played moving team duels with HM quite a lot
Yeah.
during the league. But yeah.
So yeah, I'm just interested to see how like because I would say 2 through 4 probably aren't the most solid moving players. Like Sheena can hold his own against anyone, I think, in moving, but
Yeah.
with moving being such a big focus, and it's probably going to stay that way, where it's just going to be the first mode in every set that you play, as a in the tournament as well. It's I don't know how APAC will fare. There is the only thing, so we'll see.
Yeah. I agree with that.
You did say that Eamon was a little bit of a surprise to you, especially since he was like the champion of the APAC region last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did win the major last year, I think.
So he won the APAC major last year, and he's back into the play-ins. I think I know the points differentials there, but like I'm looking at everyone else where him and Spaghetti there are more inconsistent on a weekly basis. They're either scoring highly or not really anything. So it worries me for either of those two going into the play-ins, where depends on what day it is whether they're going to do well or not. Hopefully we see more APAC representation. Just another question before we move on. Maybe you've got something afterwards, but my other thought was, considering this is, I think it's a bigger or there are more new faces this year. Do you think just the reps for this APAC region, getting them in this year in this will help them, and then maybe having, say, Chinese representation at the World Championship that will spur more new players in and then sort of like strengthen up the APAC region in the future?
We'll see. I feel like most of the players will just be Japanese or Australian moving forward. I think those are the two biggest communities in APAC. I don't really see that changing, honestly. There are a lot of untapped regions. Like I know India has a lot of players, but I don't think any of them have really reached like the top of the APAC region, like in terms of competitive stuff. And for some reason, South Korea doesn't play this game, which I think it's interesting to me because they're big in like all the other esports, right? But they don't have. I can't name a single South Korean player besides that one scripter on the leaderboard right now.
And are they actually South Korean?
Yeah, I don't know if they're actually South Korean. But regardless, I would like to see it extend a bit more, as you mentioned. Like, but man, I think we're just gonna see mostly Australians and Japanese players in APAC and New Zealand, I guess, as well.
I could see like someone from Hong Kong, for example, coming in. Like I know that Lemon is quite decent.
Yeah, there are a lot of good Hong Kong players as well. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and maybe Thailand. Like I think Better US is someone who's always on the leaderboard at around the 2K level.
Okay.
Would be nice to see. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I would like to see like more countries represented, I guess, to Jamabi's point as well. Yeah.
I mean, that's something, considering we're moving to Americas next, it's something we can sort of like transition into that with that country diversity point. In the Americas, as you can see in the top seven, five of them are from the US. All of the people from the US finished in those either automatic qualifications or the play-in spots. Is that, do you think, obviously with the APAC you want to see more diversity? With the Americas, I know 2 years in a row Dallon's missed out on actually participating due to that same rule, basically. Do you think it should be region by region, or should it be a blank statement in terms of we are going to include more countryness, just based on looking at the sort of the Americas region as well?
Yeah, I think having countryness is good, Chris. Like, I don't disagree with their decision to like only allow two Americans in from the like play-in thing that they had, the qualifiers. Yeah, don't disagree with that at all, because you obviously want to have a fan base that reaches across many nations. But yeah, I would have liked to see a stronger performance potentially. I also personally, for me, I don't know if I would have liked to see someone who has like dual citizenship, like playing for, like last year we had, you know, and then this year, I feel like, I don't know, like Shad, love Shad, nice guy, and all that, but like, I don't know, he's obviously not going to make the World League EMEA for France because there's so many strong players, Noxy, Alpha, Blinky, Math. I mean, just to name a few. So I just feel like I don't know, qualifying through Canada
Mm-hmm.
was just interesting to me to see. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that aspect of the diversity thing,
Yeah.
but because like I would have liked to see the
Yeah.
strongest players possible in some regard in that sense, but yeah, it's definitely a discussion that I'm sure GeoGuessr has been struggling with as well, in that way.
Yeah. I do think it's like it's good to have some diversity, but in the end, I don't think having one or two more American players would have hurt the league because there's a lot, like quite a big fall off in like skill towards the end. Like the skill difference between the first and last place is just absolutely massive,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like it would have been more exciting also for the viewers if that skill difference wasn't as high.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think as you mentioned, like we talked about APAC, like the last place player got 4 points there, so they at least won one of their they got a 3 pointer, so they made it to the winners of 1 week. But like there are a
Yeah.
couple of players in Americas that didn't make the winners finals at all through all 5 weeks, and I just
Mhm.
would have liked to see a bit more parity, I guess,
Mhm.
for the Americas region. I don't know if that's like kind of a double standard after what I've said for APAC, but it would have been nice to I don't know, because I feel like Americas is also getting called a plumbers region as well, and I'm not disagreeing at all. I just think it's interesting to me. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess we'll get onto what I was just thinking later, but I agree with you that in terms of maybe just selecting at times just the best possible qualifiers, maybe would be one way you could go. But then there's arguments either way. I can't really say. I'm not behind the scenes. I don't know what decisions they have to make and what they're looking for in terms of sort of marketing the game and everything as well. So
Yeah. I think that would have produced the best quality of games for
mm-hmm.
viewers, but it also they probably would have lost viewership in a few regions that want to see their own countrymen participate, I guess. So yeah.
I mean, yes, true, but then maybe using your example of Shad or Lo-Fi, like there are only 3 countries in the Americas anyway. So if you're replacing one of those on an American, you're not changing the amount of countryness
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah, I guess to that point, yeah, that is fair. We kind of only see people coming out of those 3 regions to begin with, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fair point.
Yeah,
Those three
it is
countries,
very
rather.
interesting how there's only 3 countries
Yeah,
in
just
the Americas. I never really realized, but there
those.
just aren't really a lot of players in the other regions or in the other countries.
Yeah, like I know Argentina has a pretty big community, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but
Uh-huh.
all the other Latin American countries, I don't think there's like a handful of players from each
Yeah.
place. I know a couple of people from Uruguay, like Kako and stuff, but like
Yeah, Kako.
I don't know about like Chile, Peru, Colombia, Ecuador. They don't have anything. Central America doesn't really have
Yeah.
anyone either. There's no Mexican players really.
Yeah.
So it really is probably just going to be
Yeah.
dominated by the 3 biggest countries in Americas. I mean, it kind of
Hmm.
makes sense to a degree, but um, yeah, to your point, I guess
Mm-hmm.
having more Americans wouldn't necessarily hurt the viewership. So I don't know. I would like to see how they handle it next year if there is a World League format like this.
As would I. Well, you were. Let's go on to Dallin right now. Sorry, Jamabi. But
All good.
commentary, casting, or however you say it, you were part of the team that did the Americas region. In previous years, it has majority of the time been a 2-person cast, whereas this year they've decided to move into a 3-person cast for each of the regions. How did you find it being on the actual broadcast?
So I had my doubts going into it because I think 3-person casting is really hard to not trip over the other person, especially when both of the analysts want to talk after the play-by-play person is done.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, I thought that was going to be difficult, but honestly, like we kind of both had our niches, me and Jake. Like Jake obviously more of a moving player than I am, so he's going to know more information based stuff like that. And then I typically handled more of the no move NMPZ stuff, which I think worked, and then Bloom is obviously a good play-by-play person, so I think the roles worked out well there. I'm just interested to see if they continue this for like the World Championship as well. That would be interesting. I don't know if it really
Yeah.
works.
Like in person, it's even harder for it to
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
I would say in person it might even be easier to work because then you actually know when
because you
people are
can
going to be
like
talking.
yeah.
You can do
Oh
signals
yeah,
like
true. You
hands
can
up or
kind
something
of.
like that when you're not on camera. You can
Yeah, I
work around
guess.
that
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
However, there was that you were the obviously the third person in that trio, I guess, because the other two were already established as a duo.
Yep.
And I think on the other broadcast as well, that third person was sort of was helped with the commentary, but was also the person who would be letting everyone know what was happening in the games that were off the main broadcast. Um, so when it comes to the World Championship, and you've got three, if you're thinking about three-person casts, would how do you think that dynamic would change considering, say, you haven't got something completely to focus on? Do you think it would then shift to a two-person cast, or do you think they'll stick with a three-person?
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't heard anything
Mm-hmm.
obviously, so we don't know either, but I mean, it's been successful in other esports. Like when I watch CS, sometimes they'll do a three-person cast. They'll bring on like a pro player for like League of Legends or Valorant sometimes to step in the booth with the two professional casters as well, and that ends up working out pretty well because, like you said, in person it's easy to not trip over the other
Yeah.
commentators' words, I guess. Um, so we'll see what they do for the World Championship. Obviously, would love a three-person cast because that would mean more job opportunities for the casters, but who knows? Who knows what their budget is, and who knows what they're gonna do? Are they gonna bring the sidemen again? Who knows?
Oh, you never know. I think they were pretty expensive. But Jamabi, you watching it,
Mhm.
how did the three-person cast work for you as a viewer?
It. I don't think it was as bad as I like. I definitely had a lot of doubts going
Mm-hmm.
into it, how it how it would work out, but I honestly think in the end it worked out quite well. When like people got more used to their roles and like there was more chemistry between the casters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it definitely has potential for the World Championship. And but yeah, we will see what they decide to do.
We'll see what they cook up. Yeah.
Well, moving into the actual region now, the 2025 World Championship winner champion came from the Americas region in Radu. I know in other esports, you play purely against your region, as we were talking with the Apex and the Americas all playing their basically the qualifiers for the main big tournament at the end of the year, all against their own region. Do you
Mhm.
think sort of GeoGuessr as a whole matters as much that you're only playing inter regions for qualifiers for that big tournament sort of because I know with I'm a big Siege follower sort of thing. Like you're playing inter regions, but you're playing lots of other teams. You're playing different or similar styles, but sort of different teams and how they play. Whereas GeoGuessr is more based on your knowledge or just the locations that happen to come up at the time. Do you think? Yeah, as I was saying, do you think in GeoGuessr it really matters about the regions, or do you think like previous World League iterations that like potentially mixing up the regions might give us a sort of a better standard overall?
Yeah, Jamabi, you're a player, so I'll
Um,
Yeah.
let you.
yeah, I feel like it was probably fine like this. Like as we said, the Americas and APAC definitely has like a lower skill density in the league,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like that's already kind of dealt with by giving them less spots for the World Cup finals, World Championship finals.
Mm-hmm.
With them only having four safe spots, while EMEA has eight.
Yep.
Um, so I feel like this works quite well, and it definitely is also easier to organize with like different time zones and stuff like that, um, which I know was a problem sometimes in last year's World League, and will also be quite a big problem for the play-ins, where all
Mm-hmm.
regions are mixed again. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, I I mean, I was gonna say the scheduling thing. I think is one of the main reasons why they did it as well. But I mean, like as you mentioned, like other esports, they do the same thing where it's like
Mm-hmm.
CS, I know they have like America's regionals, EMEA regionals to qualify for like majors and stuff. So I mean, it's not dissimilar to that. I guess it is more of a, I don't know. You did bring up points about how playing against in this game it's a little different
Yeah.
in a way, but I don't particularly mind the regions at all because, like Jamabi said, they're giving EMEA 8 spots, which I think they deserve because it's just a better region overall, and then giving the 2 other leagues 4 spots, auto qualies. So I don't really hate it, and I think they'll probably keep this moving forward because they like the scheduling. It's easy for them to, oh, we gotta on this week we have to be there at 11 p.m. Swedish time or whatever to set up the games and stuff, and they have a set schedule for it rather than having to schedule across 3 completely different time zones. It's just way harder, I think.
No, I agree. I wasn't sort of saying anything in terms of like this is what they should do or anything, but it was just a thought that I had based on other esports. Is where, yeah, those regions, especially a lot of the time, it is the APAC region. Sometimes the APAC region is extremely strong, and sometimes the APAC region is extremely weak. And it's like if they were to play more international events or against more people outside of their region, would they improve more? But it's just in this game, I don't know if that would help any, considering it's still. If do you know the location? Can you get to the information or use the information? Um, and if you're playing
I don't.
against someone in your region or someone out of your region, I think it's the same. You have the same.
Yeah,
Sort of,
I don't know if that aspect is
no,
holding people back, like
no.
the
Yeah.
because it's just like there's still the competitive ladder. You can play against anyone at any time, just like
Yeah.
any other game. So it's like I wouldn't say the level of competition is what's bringing
No.
APAC and Americas down at all. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I guess it can have an effect for like the actual World Championship if you play someone you haven't had like much experience in playing
Yeah.
before. Might be like difficult to find a strategy or something, but
I'm sure.
I don't think it really has too much of an influence.
I'm sure, like in other esports, like they'll play scrims as basically against other
Yeah,
people when
that's true too.
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I said, I don't think it affects. I just wanted to bring it up as a sort of a talking point here, just to see if either of you two disagreed with that point. But into the rankings, as we said earlier, it is very well. Yeah, it's a bigger drop off towards the bottom compared to APAC. MK ended up winning on 19 points. That was the winning number across all 3 regions. The current world champion in second, Mu and Ekal, the other ones automatically through to the finals. Play-in wise, Jim, Timmy, Orlando, and Gingy. Jim Timmy missing out on that final game of the last week. How do we view sort of the top 4 and then the say the chances of some of the Americas players in the play-ins? I don't know how I've managed to fumble my words so much there, but I think you understood what I was saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you looked at the league prior to the 5 weeks, you would have said, "Oh, this is the top 4 pretty clearly," or like maybe you throw Jim Timmy or Fow in there potentially. But like I would have said, the top 3 is definitely the top 3. Like that was pretty clear. MKRC, Mu being the 3 best players in the region. I don't think that's going to change. And I would have put Ecal or the only surprise to me is Fow is on the outside looking in. I think because he's always been Mr. Consistent,
Yeah.
especially in the region. But other than that, I don't really think there's any surprises here. Really, like I don't know.
Yeah, not too much. Like I think Ecal making the direct qualification was a bit surprising. Like from the I don't know, from like the beginning of the league. I didn't expect them to do so well. But yeah, it was a clear top 5 uh with like Jim Timmy just missing out. And afterwards there was like quite a significant skill gap, I would say.
Yeah.
Otherwise oh sorry.
No. I just wanted you to finish your point if you had anything else.
Yeah, I think the Brazilians not performing as well is a bit surprising to me as well, because they are known to be very good no-move players. But I don't think they really showed that in the league, at least to like a large extent. Um, Orlando in the end did make it in to the play-ins, but it was also a bit sketchy sometimes as games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's quite interesting to that point as well because I mean the best moving players ended up on top as well. Like
Mhm.
all of the Brazilians and like Lubeck particularly, they're more no move. They don't really play moving at all, like at all. So it's like
Yeah.
it's getting that first game under your belt is really important. So I think that's probably why I would say the top five, like Ekau and Jim Timmy, they're pretty close in skill overall. I'd say they're both pretty good at all three modes. Like they can both play it pretty well. I know Jim Timmy said he's not the best pinpointer, but he knows his info. And Ekau, they're just really good at all three modes, honestly. So not really surprising there. I guess 6 through 12, I could have saw going any which way, really. Maybe 6 through 9, I guess. It could have swapped around a
Yeah.
little bit. Um, but it, I mean, those Orlando and Gingy, not surprised that they made it. They've uh, been in the league for a very long time, so
Hmm.
maybe a bit more experience there also played a role in them making the plan.
To your point with Fowl earlier about him being a little bit of a surprise, it was I think it was the one person so far. No, there was one in EMEA as well in terms of a tiebreaker for a spot in either the finals or the play-ins. He missed out due to number of 4-0 weeks or 3-0 weeks, I should say. So 4-point weeks. Despite scoring more, having more point scoring weeks than Gingy, he didn't 3-0 as many as Gingy, and therefore misses out on the play-ins. And the other thing, he also contradicts your point earlier. I think he's the only one. He has the third highest moving percentage win rate in the Americas, and he still managed to miss out. Which clearly goes to show that the no move and the NMPZ were the issues for him in this cycle. But yeah, other than that, I fully agree with that first mode, that moving mode, getting off to a 1-0 start is the most important. And the people who majority of the time won that one were the ones that went into the upper brackets, basically into the winners bracket.
Yeah.
For me personally, any surprises? Again, I think it would just have been Foul not making it to at least the play-ins. I think that's the real one. But as you said, the other two people who I feel like he could have replaced, Orlando and Gingy, there's 1 point separating the three of them, like one game differential separating the three of them, and it's it could have been either of them. They're all experienced. They've all been at the World Championship before, so it's just sad that we miss out on an experienced player, but that's how it goes. Has anyone else got anything else to say about the Americas region while we're here before we move on?
No, but I do think watch out for MK in the World Championship, I guess. I think he's very motivated and probably he's probably the strongest Americas player right now. I think like he's better than RC currently. I mean that's also shown in the points, but like I mean he's just a bit more consistent right now, I think. And that's kind of what you need in this format.
Yeah, I think Radu hasn't been playing as much as he's like been busy with uni. So, and I think he said he's gonna try to lock in to GeoGuessr over the summer. So it will be interesting if he can catch up to MK again.
Yeah,
Because
if
I do
he
agree that.
Yeah, if he grinds like you said, Jamabi, then he'll definitely get back up to world championship status. But I think as of the current version of RC, I think is just a little worse than the top players in EMEA and MK currently, in my opinion.
So to that point, when it comes to them qualifying for the World Championship now in May, and then the World Championship happening in September, do you think that sort of Do you think that's a good thing, or do you think that that timeline could be a little bit shorter in terms of people are like hitting their peak now? Say like MK's like at the top of Americas right now. In 4 months' time, he might, or 3 months' time, or whatever it is, he might not be at the top. It may be, like you said, Radu has time to catch up again, or someone else puts in work. Do you think that final? Because I know in a couple of other esports, you have the majors or whatever, and then you have the last qualifier to go into the big one at the end of the year. This is the qualifier for the big tournament at the end of the year. Do you think that should be any closer to the finals, or do
Yeah,
you think
I think so.
it's fine as it is?
I think so too.
Like every esport is like, I mean, maybe max a week, or sorry, not max a week, max a month. You have to
Yeah.
wait. Like even in actual sports, like with the Champions League, it's like a month between the semifinal and the final, I think, for football. So like I mean, it is a bit weird that you get 3 months off. That's just be like, oh, you're coming off a big momentous kind of situation. You're playing at the top of your game, and then you kind of just got to go ice cold, no competition for 3 months. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Like
And yeah,
I've talked to Deborah about it a bit, and he said he kind of likes the break because it does just take quite a lot of time to actually see improvement and to like grind out a country or something. It definitely takes time, and that allows the players to do that, to actually get to a new level. But personally, I do think I would have preferred if it was like 1 or 2 months before the finals and 3 months like it is now.
Yeah, I understand that from Debre, but also at the same time, if you have those 3 months beforehand, you can grind it before the World League,
Yeah.
and then the people who have had that grind more
yeah, exactly.
will perform better in the World League and then move. Yeah, it's something just to think about, I think. And speaking of Debre and you, Jamabi, EMEA. How was your playing experience in EMEA? How do you think the sort of the day itself, how that was treated, how that was scheduled, and what other things do you think you could improve? Just the broad spectrum. There's like 2 or 3 questions there. Have a good go at it.
Yeah, I think apart from the first week, it was organized decent. We did get told like expected starting times, and like always got told like the game before us starts and we should start to get ready and stuff like that. So I think that was decent. I think the organization, in terms of like playing 2 games directly in a row, could be handled a bit better. Like to just give people a break after they've played a game. Because there were multiple instances where players had to just like play 2 games in a row, which can be difficult if you come off from a loss or something. To like be fully focused and not think of the previous game.
And
yeah,
I know it was like a 6 hour long thing to get through all of the games. Did you mind it taking that sort of length of time to play 3 or 4 games, or would you want it to be a bit of a shorter time if possible? Obviously, I don't know the logistics behind everything and all of that, but
I think it might be difficult to actually make it shorter, but I think if it would be possible, it would be nice. I definitely felt the last game be quite challenging to like actually concentrate on it. Just because, yeah, it's been taking like 6 hours or something like that.
yeah, I just from my experience as a casual viewer sort of thing, EMEA struggled less with it, but like in the other regions, if I were Americas particularly, if I was to watch it, I would sort of start losing interest towards the end, probably or potentially because it seemed to always be similar matchups in the final and the winners bracket, and you sort of knew where the points were going to be distributed. But it did seem like a slog, even in my couple of co-streams. It got to the final couple of games of the game day, and I would be done. Basically, I'd want to go get something to eat, or I want to go and do something else by the end of it. But so I don't know how you felt, Dallin, as you co-streamed. I think all of them.
Yeah. I don't know. It did feel like a slog sometimes, like you said. It's not the way that a lot of other esports do Swiss systems, I guess. Like they'll do 2 matches max, I think, on a day in like CS, and then I hate to bring it back to the CS example, but I think they're probably the top esport right now, so I just like comparing it to that. But and then they take a break, and then they come back the next day and do 2 more for Swiss or whatever. 4 matches in a day over the course of 6 hours, I can't attest to it as a player, but like, dude, that must be extremely difficult, I think, to stay focused for the entire 6 hours, especially if you win the 1-0 game and you move on to the winners final and you have to wait for those last chance games to finish as well. That's like maybe like a 2.5 hour break potentially.
Yeah.
If you're like the first match. So it's just like, how are you supposed to stay completely locked in for that entire time? It's just, I don't know. I think there's too much dead space in there potentially, and that's just my opinion.
I think I do agree. I don't know what would be like a good way to get rid of that though. Like,
you just
do you
broadcast
split
less
the
games,
6
I
hours
guess.
for like 2 days, or yeah, but then again, like people were demanding for every game to be broadcasted.
I mean, I obviously it's more money on time and manpower on their side, but it's like if you had we've got, because Dan and I, whatever, we've got all the links and everything. It's like EMEA, you have 4 games going at a single time at times, but then that slows down and goes to 3 halfway through in the EMEAs, and then like. I don't think, and with the Americas and the Apex, I'm not sure you need to view 3 games per round. You might just need to view 2, and that will shorten things.
That's true.
Yeah. But it's just obviously if they do that, maybe they'll have to put up another clean feed that's and spend more money and have more people invest in doing that. So I don't know if that's a real option, but I think maybe spreading the games out, giving it to, or maybe co-streamers, or even like a second stream potentially, or where there's no real commentary, it's just a clean feed of one of the other games, where you're not, so yeah, you've got more games happening at one time, but it shortens the day. I think that would help in terms of maybe even viewer retention, because it is a long day, and it helps the players out as well potentially. As Dallin said, with the wait times. Regardless of that, EMEA was viewed and has been mentioned already today as the most entertaining region by a lot of people that I've heard. Why is my question? Why do you think that is the case? Is it more players?
I feel like more players is definitely a part of it. So like the matchups don't repeat each other. Don't repeat as often. I also feel like the skill density, especially in moving, was quite a lot higher in EMEA than the other regions. There were like, I don't know, really not a lot of people that didn't know what they were doing in moving.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely also, just made the games a bit more high quality, especially in moving.
Because I mean, there's even players at the bottom of EMEA as well that they're really good at moving. So I guess it just makes the entire set a bit more entertaining as well. Just seeing good quality gameplay from the start, I guess. Because like even though Marcus Benz and Mackham finished at the bottom of the league, like I would say they're 2 of the like pretty top to middle moving players, I think, in the league.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like,
agree.
yeah, there's I mean there's it's just more entertaining in that way where you get engaged from the start rather than seeing someone insta send Kenya because they don't want to bother looking for a PO box or something, or like they just don't know random stuff, so they'll just send within 5 seconds. Like I don't know if that's interesting for the viewer, because I think as a casual viewer you want to see like 5Ks and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like seeing a 10K, so exciting.
Red Bull 10K.
But like, yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
But like, I don't know. It's the quality of games were also higher. as well, as Jamabi mentioned. So I think those two things really played a huge role in probably the popularity of EMEA. You could see that in the viewers as well. I think EMEA was getting like maybe double the viewers overall with the co-streamers and all of that.
Yeah.
So that's the region that people cared about the most. So yeah.
And I guess the question is in terms of, I completely blanked. I was about to say something and my mind went blank. So ignore me. I will just move into just rankings in general. I know there was a particular person who was high up in the rankings, almost won EMEA. However, Blinky did beat that person out, who is no longer qualified to the World Championship Finals. Do either of you have something to say about Steve?
I'll let Jamabi go first because I have like some thoughts.
Yeah, so I don't think Steve cheated in the World League. I would be very surprised if he did, especially with the way that he played. He sent very quickly on most rounds. I don't think you could really go to the second monitor, click scroll through the JSON, click the right thing, look at it without people noticing. I don't think that's realistic. I think the way he got banned is extremely stupid from him. There was no need for it at all. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to just sum it up on my end, like my general thought is that he's an idiot because he's done it again somehow. Like Steek, if you're watching this, you're just dumb, man. Like I hate to break it to you, but like, dude, we gotta, I don't know, just not do stupid stuff like that, man. And because it really did seem like when he was on stream, he was kind of autopiloting. Like he does it every time he's not on stream. He's checking the JSON to see if his guess is good, and then he'll adjust it or something like that. That's what it looked like to me watching the clip, at least.
Yeah.
And but to Jamabi's point, he's obviously not doing that in the World League because there's no way you can do that. You're sharing your screen, you have your camera on, all of that stuff, and like Jamabi said, he was guessing very fast. So there's no way you can get a pin down, check the JSON, and then immediately like I don't know, send it in within like 5 seconds. It's pretty impossible. So I think his 19 points were legitimate, in my opinion. But like also at the same time, you know you're on thin ice from previous bans because you've scripted in the past or whatever when you really didn't need to, and now you've just decided to use a third party like, oh, we're gonna check a JSON while I'm playing a ranked 2v2s game against Finbar and Blinky. Like it's just got to be the stupidest way to mess up your second chance, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my little rant there. Like it's
No, I agree.
I just don't know how you can be so stupid. You had the opportunity for like $4,000 or something like that from World League, your earnings 3,000 or whatever it was, and you threw it all away because you had to go check a JSON in a ranked 2v2 game that doesn't even matter at that point
On
when
Croatia,
you know it's your
of
second
all
chance.
countries.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, all you did was do like 200 damage and get the multis for that. Like, who cares at that point? It's just, I don't know. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen, and
Yeah.
he deserved to get banned for it, is my opinion. Like, it was deserved, but like also
I
so
honestly
dumb.
do think the Croatia check, it kind of reflects Steek's character a bit. Like every ban in the past that he's had, he did not need to cheat. He was the best player.
Yeah.
During the Rainbow era, and then he decided to cheat for no reason. Then again, he got banned because he wanted to just have like a skill difference because between him and like the second best player, there was no need for that at all either because he was clearly one of the best even without that. And now again, like on Croatia, like come on.
Yeah, and
Like,
then also doing like a fake America's co-stream while also like pulling up receipts from like other members of the community. I was just like, brother, you're just digging yourself a deeper hole, and also like you're not taking accountability for your own actions. Like you didn't do it the first time, you're not doing it the second time as well. Like it's just just kind of shows that a lot of people thought he had changed when he got a second chance, but it's pretty clear to me now that it's just nothing's changed from before, and it's saddening to see because I would have liked to see another person that could compete with Plinky, Consis, RC, Debre, those people, but
Yeah.
when you mess up a chance that big, it's insane to me. Yeah.
Well, on to the people who have qualified for the World Championship now, due to that. Blinky, again, shows he's at the top of his game, or the top of the game still. Consus, Debre, Bulgarian Joya, Captain, Finbar, Clement, and Manuelson now have all qualified automatically. And then we have Lenley Malfunction, who we'll probably talk about a little bit more in a minute, going to Rotterdam for a wild card, finishing in 9th and 10th. One untrue Little Chat guest here, Jamabi in 11th, Noxie, Strefan, Kratsu, and Rallius, a fortunate member. So we have replaced somebody Dutch with somebody else who's Dutch in the qualified spots.
To a degree.
So what do we think of how it shook up, how that sort of worked out overall? Any surprises? Anyone you thought did it even better than you did expect?
Jamabi?
I think Gary is probably, or Bulgarian Joya is probably one of the biggest surprises. I knew they were a good player. I knew they could definitely compete for the spots, but to actually end in 4th place, definitely a little bit unexpected to me. Otherwise, Finbar, just with his inconsistency, you see that he still ended up in 6th place is a little surprising, but in the end it is deserved. I mean, he is a very good player if he can actually lock in and concentrate on the game. I don't think Kenya or Nigeria, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah, that happened.
I'll be-
I mean, Jamabi, talk a bit about how you think you can do in the play-in, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting format because, like, yeah, like I'm seeded in like a group with Kratsu, Eamon, and Jim Timmy. I don't think it's an easy group to have.
Yeah.
With Jim Timmy and Kratsu both being very strong moving players, I would say, and Eamon also being decent at it. I would have definitely liked to have like at least one easy moving game. But I think it's a very equal group with everyone having a decent chance. I know that the play-in will probably be during night times for APAC, so that will be a problem for Eamon. I don't know how he will fare with it, because like playing at 2 a.m. and playing at midday or something is definitely a different thing.
Do we know the format for the play-in as well? Is it?
But I hope I am allowed to leak it,
because I know on the website I can't view the play-in and who's in what group or what format it is.
As a caster, I had no idea either. So Jamabi might have just leaked something.
Yeah.
So the first, it's 3 different groups of 4. The first place will directly qualify, and second and third place will play a playoff game, which will be a best of 5. So like a second place in one group is playing a third place in a different group.
Okay.
And the winner of that playoff game is also gonna be making it to Berlin.
I was wondering, considering there were basically half the people in the play-ins were going to be making it to Berlin, so I was wondering how they were going to go about it, but that seems like a smart enough way with this. Yeah.
Like before they released that, we were speculating if they are just gonna let people play one playoff game, like a 1v1 against someone else, and the winner makes it.
I
think that there's definitely a better solution. Yeah, I think there's definitely a way better solution. And for me, it means just making sure not to get last in the group and hopefully clutch out the playoff game.
Yeah. You kind of get a tough group, though. It does look like.
It is quite a tough group, yeah.
So it should be interesting.
Yeah. Before the Steak ban, I had a different group with Rappler, Gingy, and Noxy, I think, which would have been, I think, easier to make top 3
for moving. Yeah, for moving, I
Yeah,
think it would have been
definitely
easier as
for
well,
moving.
for sure. So yeah, Steak's ban kind of threw a spanner in the works there for everyone.
Yeah.
It appears. But do you want to talk about the Rotterdam thing, Chris, at all?
I was gonna see what your thoughts on the on the EMEA standings were first before we moved into sort of the wild cards. But
yeah,
if you didn't have any thoughts on that, we can move straight into that.
I think it's pretty normal. Like I would have expected. I didn't know how Gari was gonna fare, I guess, prior, but I think the other 7, I think I would have predicted to be somewhere close to the top in some capacity. Like could have threw maybe Jamabi, Noxy, Lenley in there as well. But I think the top 7, besides Gari being how it is, I'm not surprised about it, and I'm not surprised about who made the play and all of that as well. So, and then the bottom of the league, I probably would have expected to be the bottom of the league as well. So like it felt a little, like just standard as to what I would have expected going into the league, I guess. Besides Gari, I didn't really know where to put them on the rankings.
There were a couple of people I felt sort of bad for going in. Was well afterwards. Mackham, obviously, friend. He's been on this little chat before. He just not getting a point. That's that. Like,
that's
the probability of like in those final 5 games on the lower bracket, like and he's a moving player as well. You expect him to maybe come out with a 2-1 or something at least in one of those weeks, but unfortunately it didn't work out for him.
I think the thing with Mackham is, though, if you put him in Americas or APAC, I think he gets. I'm not saying he makes the play-in, but like he's definitely on like 5 or 6 points in my opinion, at least. So
I think he could be making the play-in, honestly. Like,
yeah, I mean it would be close.
I don't know.
I think with how good he is at moving compared to like some of the bottom America's APAC players, I would say he definitely has a chance. It's just like the other 2 modes. He's just not as polished in compared to a lot of the players, and I think that's what hurt him in the end, of course.
Yeah, I think especially no move, you could just see the skill difference, and
maybe
maybe
sure.
really like there were just like too many blunders, too many big mistakes.
I mean, EMEA, everyone in EMEA is good at no move, pretty much. So he's the only like person I would say that's not like the greatest at no move. I would say if you look at 1 through 18 and Steak, who got disqualified, I think all of them are pretty damn good at no move and like much better than Mackham's current standard. So it's just like hard for him to get momentum even if he does win the moving game.
And I saw that he went to NMPZ 7 times and didn't win 1. So that also shows a lot in terms of that. But he does have his own outfit in the game, so he's got one up on all of us. So
this is true.
Yeah. Other than that, the other person I was going to say was Trickter, but that's purely because he was in the depths of Bolivia or somewhere doing moving during the first few weeks, and that might have hindered him because we saw him on the final game. He beat a couple of people in moving once he had some decent internet connection. So for him being 2 points off the play-ins. Again, if he had better internet in those first couple of weeks, he may have made those. But,
yeah, he did get quite unlucky with making like it was very close with him making the winners or losers final in the last 2 weeks, I think. So yeah, he could have definitely, if he could have just like would have just like gotten 1 winners final, he would have probably made it into the play-ins. So he was definitely quite close to making it.
And any thoughts on Jeff before we move on?
I don't even know what to say.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
Okay.
Yep, same.
So, when it comes to the, I was going to say play-ins, but we've gone through the play-ins a little bit already, and sort of the format there. So we'll go to Rotterdam, or I should say play-in the wild cards as well. What are the thoughts on one of the two wild cards, I should say, that we've got? The two spots that can go to potentially anyone. One of them is a 1v1 in Rotterdam between 9th and 10th place in EMEA. None of the other regions sort of have that sort of. I know we talk about the skill difference, but none of them have that opportunity for that wildcard spot. And then also the online wildcard spot, which hasn't changed in 2 or 3 years, it feels like. And there's 50 players playing for one spot through a qualification process due to ELO on the leaderboard, and all these different controversies get thrown up, and then the top 16 go and play a round robin tournament for one spot. I know Jamabi, you managed to get through one of those last year, but thoughts on neither of those? I guess we'll start with Rotterdam. What do we think about sort of the 1v1 in the EMEA region getting an extra chance?
Yeah, I can start with that. I mean, it makes sense. It's the strongest region. I mean, it's easy for them to get players over to Rotterdam as well. But I don't know. I'm kind of interested in this matchup because I think it's kind of contrasting playstyles in a way, because Malfunction, in my opinion, probably a way better moving player than Lenley at this current point in time. And we'll see how she does and if she's able to carry her momentum, because like if you know anything about Malfunction, I feel like she does get tilted sometimes.
What?
So we'll see. Hopefully she doesn't make like a silly guess on something moving no move wise and then lose her mental for the rest of the set. Whereas I think Lenley a bit stronger on no move, and then I think if it does get to NMPZ, I think Lenley's just probably just going to win there, in my opinion. I don't know if Jamabi feels a different way, but like Malfunction needs to capitalize early, I guess, with the moving game.
Yeah.
Is it like a best of 5? Is it moving no move, and then NMPZ?
I would assume so, but I don't know exactly. I think it's the best of 5 though.
Okay, well, it is next week, and nobody really knows, so
but yeah,
it says it's a
that's
single
a classic
match best of
GeoGuessr.
5. That's all it says here on Wikipedia.
Okay.
When I'm looking
Okay, so it's probably not going to be a pick ban thing. It's probably just going to be moving, then no move, then moving, then no move, then NMPZ. So I think Malfunction just needs to close it out before you get to the NMPZ game, personally. I mean, she's not bad at NMPZ by any means, but I just think Lenley's just a bit superior. Plus, he has some aura or something that causes him to win these NMPZ games on stage.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got quite lucky to have that matchup, Lenley versus Malfunction. I think it's an interesting matchup to have. With like, yeah, as you said, two different play styles, two players which also have like are quite liked in the community, have like a bit, at least Lenley has like a big community as well. So can definitely maybe get more attention than it would have gotten otherwise. But I honestly don't know if this is a good way to do a wildcard. It kind of seems like a wasted spot in a way. Like, I don't know, just like to have one wildcard just be one best of 5 game is a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to really feel about it.
I'm interested. Like, do you know why they took away like having the wild card being a player from the country that they're hosting it in? Like, why didn't they just do a German wild card instead?
I would assume it's probably because they got like quite a lot of backlash for the Danish wild card they did, but
yeah,
I don't know. Like,
maybe.
But it gives a guaranteed home crowd something to cheer for at least.
Yeah, the thing is that, like, I think even Zone getting through, like, Zone is pretty dang good. I think he would have got some points in EMEA World League this year. So it's not like they picked like it's not like they picked some random like 1300 elo player to go up there.
That is
true.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good German players as well. like that
Yeah, I feel
aren't.
like the player density in Germany would have been decent.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just surprised why they scrapped it for this one person playoff, but
Yeah, not sure.
I don't know. Yeah.
But on top of that, in terms of that and the other wildcard that we can move to, the open wildcard, the online one at least, only one spot comes from that as well, and you've got 50 players competing for it. Some people, I'm not going to name any names, have already given up on it, maybe deleted accounts. Other people have are trying their hardest, but like all of a sudden the elo inflation has skyrocketed over the past couple of weeks, especially between those players. Is it, considering it's over a 4 week period for them to play just to get into a knockout bracket where one of them will compete? Surely there are other better ways to run something similar like this. Even running two separate things, so that they've got more than one person from outside the World League that can compete at the World Cup potentially.
Well,
Because that's my thought of wildcard, is like it's like a last chance qualifier. So even if you were in the World League and didn't make it to the play-ins, you might be able to take part in a wildcard to make it there. But other people can join in at the same time.
I mean, I think the reason why they do this year after year is because it's the least amount of effort and it's the lowest budget. Is it, like, literally, I think
Yeah.
that's the reason why they do it. Like, nothing against GeoGuessr, but it's like very easy to formulate. Like, you really don't have to do much. So I mean, I think that's the reason why they do it. Is it good on all of the players' mentals when there's like rampant win trading? You have alts playing as well, queuing at the same time potentially, and then like it's just an absolute mess of a format.
Yep.
um, so it's really not good. I mean, there's a reason why I just didn't sign up for it this year because I just didn't want to deal with the 4 weeks of just going through mental warfare with
Yeah.
49 other players, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I very much dislike the format. I don't know. It's
yeah,
doesn't
it's
seem like a good format to me. Just like 4 weeks of, I don't know. Like I know it's very hard on players' mentals as well. Just like constantly checking the spreadsheet, like who has overtaken me and like all that
yeah,
stuff.
That's the other thing. You're talking about the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet's made by Biquet, who's, it's not an official spreadsheet. This is,
Yeah.
so people who aren't in these Discord servers who are with the spreadsheet and can check it regularly, the casual viewer, they can check the website, which gets updated once a week over every 4 weeks, and they have no idea how it's going until it gets to that
Yeah.
16 knockout tournament. So there's nothing
Like
dragging
they do
anyone
have,
external or anyone that's not in the community
yeah.
to view it.
Yeah. Like yeah. They there's no way to really view it. Like I know that they are updating the scores every week now. So there's like a leaderboard right now, but like I don't know if how many people are actually gonna look at that and yeah.
yeah. I mean, there's also no way to police something like this, as I mentioned. Like, it's just like you could just be sitting in a call with 10 people, and they could all be checking JSONs like Steak, and they could say, oh, "Okay, blue car 24 is only here." Like,
Yeah,
it's like you don't know if that's
Yeah.
happening at the end of the day because there's no way to police it on the competitive leaderboard, which is it's I don't know. I don't know what the better solution would be, I guess, because like it's hard to come up with something that
that's going to
doesn't
cost
take an
No.
money.
immense. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not going to cost
Yeah.
money.
but
I don't know.
I mean, surely there's a better way to do it than this,
Like
man.
Yeah.
I feel like just inviting people based on I don't know their peak elo to play some sort of tournament or something would
Yeah,
be easier on the player's mental and just like I don't know, a better way to do it. But
yeah. I mean,
I
anything's
don't
got to
know.
be better than this, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
I mean, even if
who
you
knows?
try something new, sort of thing, even if it doesn't work out and it's not great next year, like at least you've tried something else.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. At least it shows that like there has thought been put into it. And we know this isn't the best thing. Maybe we try something else. If it doesn't work out, I think people, even though there will be critics still, there always are. Lots of people understand that. Hey, at least they've given that option a go. That didn't work out. Maybe we change it up because it's still in the infancy stage of an esport.
Yeah, but like honestly, I don't know if there's a way to make it worse. Genuinely, like
yeah.
I don't know.
One of my actually, I've got two things. First thing we didn't touch on earlier, they did change the multis this year to individual multis, which I think was worked out to be a good change, in my opinion. I don't know how you felt about it as a player. And then also on top of that, the round limit was moved from 10 to 20. However, the one time that did come up was a bit of a controversial one. So it was like, if that happens once over the entire World League over 3 regions, is there really a necessity for that 20 round limit to continue going forward?
Yeah, like I don't know. I think the round limit still being a thing is an absolute joke. I don't know. Like there was no reason for it to be like for them to keep the round limit, but they're just obsessed with it. Yeah, like the one game where it came into use, like just showed how bad of an invention it was. And I'm glad that Raleigh has got his planes, but after all, because losing out after that would have been like, I don't know, it's quite rough to deal with.
Yeah, I would have quit the game forever, probably.
Yeah,
that happened to me. If that was for a wild card or a play-in spot, and I lost because of round limit, I would have crashed out, personally. Especially when you were winning the entire game, and then on the last round you lost just enough health. Yeah, exactly. You lost just enough health to lose, health-wise. You were down like 100 HP at the end of the game, and you still lost because of round limit. It was crazy. So.
And either thoughts on multipliers from both of you? Do you think that was a good change?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's an argument 2 and 4, or like 4 and against high ranges as well, potentially being added. So like if you send the same terrible guess, but one person gets like 3,000 points and one person gets 999, there should be some sort of tie range there or something, but they would have to work out the exact details on that and make it. Yeah.
But then, I think a tie range is good, but sorry.
No, you go.
But like,
you haven't spoken.
For example, the one Bloom tournament or something, I think it was, with like the tie range, and then like it went 18 rounds, and both players were like at 1.6x or something.
Yeah.
Just maybe isn't the way either.
I mean, that's when they have the round limit. That's when that comes in.
Yeah, they would have to find something. They'd have to find something in between that would work, I think.
Yeah, like some small tie range, I think, would be good.
Yeah.
If 2 players are actually like sending the absolute win.
Because that Bloom tournament was like 8 people, wasn't it, or something like that, and it was double elimination or something, and it took
6 hours,
7 hours, or
8,
something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Gelotris was like, "Yeah, surely the tournament doesn't take that long." And then we're all messaging him 8 hours later that it's still going. So a little tough. But yeah.
And lastly, in terms of wildcard, there's something that's sort of with me that I'm not entirely sure about. Obviously, it works different in other esports as well, but you've got qualification for the World League happening after the World Championship in sort of like November, December sort of time. And then you've got the World Championship in September. How fair, or fair is a word I can use, but if you've got sort of 10 months between when you're qualifying to when you can be playing a World Championship, and you've got that length of time to improve, or people can improve that didn't make it to the World League through qualifiers, how fair is it that only sort of like potentially one spot goes to people who may have improved during the year to prove themselves to sort of get into that World Championship? Or do you think it would be unfair to have more spots for the people who have made it to the World League and have put all that effort in all year to try and make it to the World Championship?
So I mean, it is different for like other esports, but this is such an
Mhm.
individualistic game, you know. Whereas like orgs will get promoted and demoted, so they have the funding and the backing behind all of that. But as a singular player, I think more opportunities for individuals would be better, in my opinion. And I'm interested to see what they do next year, I guess, because like the people who are eliminated from the league, will they have to try to requalify? So like people like, I don't know, like Carrier or Marcus Benz who ended up at the
Mhm.
bottom of VMEA, or like Lubeck, Lo-Fi, those people, will they have to requalify for Americas and stuff like that? Or will they get like automatically shepherded back into the league? I don't know what they'll end up doing there, but the
Yeah.
only opportunity to make it based off of one wildcard tournament, I just think is,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's enough for all of the other members of the community that have been grinding so hard and not have given the opportunity to compete competitively, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think just looking at like the spreadsheet, just like seeing how many good players there are,
Mhm.
which just didn't or don't have an opportunity to showcase their skill. Like I don't know, just to name a few, like Alpha, KG, Orion, Kiribati,
Yeah.
like
Asuja.
Han as well. Like there's just so many good players who just are gonna compete for one spot now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even that
Which
one spot, you go to the World Championship, and you're not guaranteed the World League the next year, as you found out.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is an interesting decision. I hope they only keep the players that actually auto qualified to the World Cup in the World League. And
Yeah.
everyone else has to requalify. Like that would mean also I would have to requalify. But I think that is the fairest way to do it.
Agreed.
To like keep the top players that
Mhm.
made it directly.
Well, I think Jamabi, if you make the world championship from the play-in, I think you should also still get a spot. So anyone that actually does play in the
Yeah.
world championship, it doesn't have to be an auto
Oh, that
qualification
yeah.
from the league. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
guess
think
that makes
that
sense
would
too.
probably make the most sense, and then everybody, there'll be a certain amount of spots from each region based on how they
Uh-huh.
perform in the play-in. I guess I think that makes the most sense to me, at least the cutoff. But yeah,
Yeah.
whatever works.
Yeah. Ideally, in my head, I guess I would sort of split it into two sort of thing. You'd have the qualification after the World Championship for maybe a 2 or 3 month period in terms of World League. You have the winners there, say the top half of them, that you get points based on your finish. And the top half of them continue, and then you have another qualifier, and then you sort of mix up everyone, and everyone who makes it into the World League at some point during the year will have a points finish, and then the top per region sort of make it through to the World Championship at the end. Something similar to that, in my
Yeah.
head would be like uh,
Mhm.
more ideal, considering it allows more people to come in and out throughout the year, gives more opportunities. But I know it's a lot harder to organise. It costs probably more money and all of these different things, and it's a tighter schedule. So obviously, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but that as a viewer, that's something I would prefer to see.
Yeah. I also think the World League could be a bit more stretched, or like a bit
Mhm.
less stretched out. Like there was always a break week after every like cycle, after every region
Yeah.
was done once, um, and also like the 3 month break now. So like
Mhm.
I feel like you could easily start the World League in, I don't know, March or something like that, and still get done with it and just play the qualifiers in February or something, and then you don't have to play them in like November or something.
Mhm.
Like of course it's still like a distance to the World Championship, but it's at least a little bit closer.
Yeah, and then that obviously leaves mid September or early September this year through to February, where there's nothing happening esports wise for
Yeah, I
GeoGuessr,
guess. Yeah, I guess
which is
that's
why
true.
I'm like maybe two
Yeah,
seasons would like, but then so for them
yeah,
having it more spread out means it gets brought up more often throughout the year, and it's more eyes on rather than just like a condensed schedule. So I understand that's part of it, but yeah, I know as a player or as someone who's trying to get into the World League, it's qualifying immediately after the World Championship as well or a month or so after that isn't ideal most of the time, especially as say you make it to the World Championship and you still have to auto qualify or requalify. You might be having a break from GeoGuessr because it's the end of the cycle, so might not be the most ideal time for qualifiers. But before we go, are there any final thoughts from either of you two? Anything you want to say?
I don't know. Something else I've noticed is I think the players that manage to stay calm in the games are usually the players who are on top. Like for example, Consus, Blinky, and also Radu, MK, Gina. Like you just rarely see them show too much emotion. Same with like Captain being in fifth. Like he is, to me, somewhat like a second Consus in a way, with the way he plays. I think this is very important to like stay focused and not let losses get to you. Like I think that is what got to me in the last week, for example, and it's also probably the main reason why Eamon, for example, didn't do as well as expected. Just getting tilted and not being focused on the game too much.
I did notice that in you in that last week. I could see the headphones came off at one point. So I think your mental after the first game of the week that you lost, was that against Debre, 2-1 in NMPZ. I think your mental, especially you had to sit around and sit with it for a while, even after losing to Trichter, and then you've got to sit and wait for an opponent, and then it's Consus as well that comes to you at the end. Like it's a tilting day, I can see, but I agree. Like a lot of the people nearer the top are do seem to have that while they're playing. Their emotions aren't wavering too much.
Yeah.
Anything else from you, Dallin?
No, I'm excited for the World Championships, which will be happening in 3 months. So, other than that, we have to hope that Jamabi gets into the World Championship, of course, in the play-in stage with his tough group, and excited to watch the very fun 50-person wildcard tournament that will be occurring for the next 2 weeks as well.
Yes, I'm sure I will remember it's even happening. Otherwise, I'm just going to throw a little thing out here at the end. If there are any APAC players or anything that wanted to go more in depth with the APAC region with me one-on-one in a little chat, or anyone else who's seen this and thinks, hey, I'm in the GeoGuessr community, I think I'd be an interesting person, don't be afraid to just reach out to me. I'm happy enough to continue doing these. I'm planning a few more of these, as I had done in the past, and took a little break away. So if anyone has made it to this point of the video and does want to hop on and have their say about anything in the community, just let me know, and I'll be happy enough to get you on. But otherwise, that's all from us here today, and thank you for tuning in.
Could I just shout someone out?
Yep.
Okay, I would just like to shout out everyone who's been supporting me during the World League. I know that Dallon has been supporting me with like his co-casts. Lyttle one as well, of course.
I was about to say.
Always the important streams.
Mm-hmm.
Same to like the German community for always supporting me. Eamon and Emma for their emotional support during losses. That's definitely made me get into the planes, and thank you for that.
And I'll throw Dallon's stuff, if you don't know of him, I don't know how, in the description, all his Twitch and YouTube and everything like that. The game show guy, as he's known around these parts. Have you got anything interesting coming up, or or are you
No, I'm a-
just the usual?
No, I'm a pretty uninteresting guy. I think we're gonna take it easy until the World Championship. I don't know if I'm gonna do another game show. We'll see. But it's such a it's a lot of work.
It is
You know
a
what I'm
lot of
saying?
work.
Especially with my job and all of that. But who knows? Might surprise people. But nothing in the works right now.
Right. Goodbye.